Hi everyone! Welcome to All About Mangroves video which is presented by Group 9. So before we begin, let's move on to the objectives of this video. There are three objectives. First is to spread awareness about importance of mangrove ecosystems among Malaysians. Second is to provide information about mangrove ecosystem in fun and easy way. Third is to increase awareness among Malaysians about threats that face Malaysia mangrove ecosystem.
What is mangrove? Mangrove word is derived from the Portuguese word for tree, which is mangue, and the English word for a strand of trees, which is grove. Together, it becomes mangrove. What are mangrove forests? Mangrove forests are vegetated tidal habitat that consists of saltwater tolerant shrubs and trees. They are also known as tidal forests. This term will help us to differentiate them from the individual plants. Mangrove can grow in intertidal and estuaries areas. They can thrive in loose soils, slant habitat, and periodic tidal submergence. Did you know that mangrove can also grow on sand, peat, and coral rock? In 2010, there was about 15.236 million hectare of total mangrove area in the world, according to Spalding et al. 2010. It is also reported that Malaysia is one of the top 12 countries that have the largest extent of mangrove area in the world. Mangrove forest is very dynamic and highly productive ecosystem. Studies demonstrate that the primary productivity in mangrove forests are higher compared to the other type of forests. In Malaysia, there was about 641,886 hectares of mangrove forests, of which 57% of them can be found in Sabah, 36% in Sarawak, and 17% in Peninsula Malaysia. Did you know that mangrove have their own unique adaptations? Mangrove seed. Mangrove seed can grow into a new plant while they are still attached to their parents. Mangrove roots, they have a special root that called as pneumatophore. This root will help them to filter any salt water that come before entering the system. Mangrove leaf, they have a special gland that will help to excrete the salt out from the system. There are at least 70 mangrove species from 28 families can be found here in Malaysia, according to Mubarak and ASEAN 2012. For example, we have Nipah fruticans, Padanus tectorius, and Abyssinia alba. It is very important for us to protect our mangrove. Here in Malaysia, we have many conservation areas and national parks that are open for public for educational purposes. For example, we have Pulau Kukup Johor National Park, Kuala Selangor Nature Park, and Larut Matang Mangrove Forest Reserve.
I want to talk about mangrove threat. I will be focusing on three mangrove threats. First is the global climate change. Second is the water pollution. And third, deforestation. Global climate change has increased the global mean temperature each year. The increasing temperature will melt down the ice on North and South Pole. Later, will increase the mean seawater level around the globe. Because of that, the high tide and low tide of mangrove habitat will move more toward the land, and also move the mangrove habitat toward more to the land. It will cause the nearest mangrove to sea will submerge in a long period of time. The climate change also alter the hydrological properties of mangrove habitat. For example, the water temperature will not be suitable for the seedling to germinate. Eventually, it will decrease the growth rate and the survival rate of mangrove plants. Next, water pollution on river that brings the sludge and sewage will end up on mangrove habitat. All this kind of pollution came from the industrial waste and household near the ecosystem. It will affect the flora and fauna there. The pollution such as oil will smothering the mangrove roots and later kill the tree. Fauna such as snails and crabs also affected with the pollution and destroy the ecological system there. Later lead to deterioration of mangrove forests. Lastly, mangrove forests were assumed as unproductivity forests or useless in industrial. The mangrove forest was converted to economic enterprise like agriculture, infrastructural facilities area, and aquaculture. For example, according to Latif The Tanjung Ru mangrove has been converted to hotel infrastructure and believed cannot be recovered back as mangrove habitat. In addition, all this kind of changing will alter the natural flow of water and might cutting off the fresh water supplies to the near mangrove ecosystem.
Guys, have you wondered what is the importance of mangrove? The first one is for fisheries. Mangrove provide habitat for many species such as shrimp, fish, and many more. Mangrove also is a breeding ground and food source for coastal communities. Mangrove roots act as shelter for juveniles before they leave the seabeds to get food as they grow up. Fisheries communities really depends on mangroves ecosystem for health and hide fish, crab, and shellfish supply. The next one is as a timber and plant production. Mangrove wood have a high resistance and truly valuable, can become a construction material and fuel. Their leaf used for medical, animal forage, and also for tannings. These days, mangrove forest has been commercially planted for charcoal and pulp production. Third, mangrove acts as coastal protection. Mangrove dense root system become the first line for coastal communities protection. They also stabilize the shoreline by prevent erosion and acts as natural barrier protection against storm, flood, and wave. Besides, root system help in filtering out sediment in the flowing river water to prevent coral reef and seagrass being covered in sediment. Lastly, for storage carbon, mangrove can reduce the global warming by removing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere by stored in the plant. Mangrove tree components like roots and leaves contain carbon. When they die, they will break down under the soil and cover it with tidal water to increase the carbon storage.
So how do we spread awareness about mangroves? In this modern era, almost everyone has mobile phones and of course, social media, right? One of the ways to spread awareness is by using your social media platforms, such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or even TikTok. Aside from doing non-beneficial things on your social media platform, I am going to teach you on how you can use your social media platforms to the fullest. Let's take Instagram as an example. If you post a mangrove awareness video on your Instagram story, your followers might be interested to see it, so they will just tap the link and it will lead them to the video that you shared. This is one of the best strategies for you to gain views, and also at the same time, you can educate people about the mangrove awareness. But wait, don't forget to put a caption, share this video so your followers can share it too. Next, we can spread awareness by hosting educational events, such as online seminars, conferences, or even industry in classrooms. Why hosting educational events is important is because we need to deliver the main objectives of the awareness. For example, the main objective of mangrove awareness is that mangroves are land protection from extreme waves, strong coastal winds, and even tsunamis. So hosting an educational event is as important as raising awareness because it is what we deliver that matters. We also need a strong support system so that the awareness we create is worth our time and effort. That is all from me. I hope you can take these steps so we can make a better world. Your voice matters.
For the Q&A session, we collect the question through our group member Instagram stories. So the first question is, which plant encourages species to the mangrove uphold? This question is from AYXVI____. So the answer is, there are many other common plants in the mangrove forest such as palms, hibiscus, acanthes, legumes, myrtle, tlambago, and hundreds more. A huge variety of wildlife lives or breeds in the mangrove ecosystems, including numerous of fish, crab, shrimp species, mollusks, and mammals like sea turtle. Second question is, what are the good conditions for the mangrove growth and development? This question is from _and_15. So the answer is, mangrove has several requirements to develop. They need average temperatures of the coldest months higher than 20 degrees Celsius. The seasonal temperature range should not exceed 5 degrees Celsius. They can tolerate temperatures of 5 degrees Celsius, but the development will be affected. Other than that, they also need a large tidal range areas, and the shore must be free of strong wave action and tidal current. The third question is, how mangrove filter excessive salt? This question is from Nabiha underscore. So the answer is mangrove has various salt-tolerant mechanisms that vary with the species. They can exclude salt, accumulate salt, and excrete salt. First, plants that exclude salt prevent it from entering the membranes of their roots. Second, in other plants that do end up containing essential salts, some accumulate it into all the leaves so it can be shaped with the leaves. Third, it excretes salt. It used by the plants that have much higher concentration than seawater, so it excretes the salt through glands on their leaf. Next question is, what is the biggest mangrove in this world? The answer is Sundarban's mangrove forest, which is one of the largest such forests in the world, which around 140,000 hectares. It lies on the delta of the Ganges, Brahmaputra and Meghna rivers on the Bay of Bengal. And the last question is, why mangrove area smells bad? This question is from Iman Shakir underscore. The answer is, mangrove forests play a central role in transporting organic matter and energy from land to the marine ecosystem. This matter and energy comes from detritus from fallen leaves and branches and form the base of important marine food chains. Bacteria break down the detritus, releasing useful nutrients into the water that can be used by marine animals. These bacteria give mangroves their rotten egg smell, which made the mangrove area smells bad. As the sediments is oxygen poor, so only that bacteria use sulfur for energy can survive.
So, the conclusion for this video is, we have learned all about how mangrove swamp live and for some reason why we should treasure them. We have even learned how we can protect them and taken action to ensure that we do. We can have a positive impact on our environment when our activity affect the environment and live in a helpful way. We can do so by conserving natural resources and protecting organisms living on the earth. So, this is the time for us to plant more and continue to live and act in a way that protect the mangrove swamp.